Hi guys, I'm back with another video, and if you don't know me, my name is Jamise, and yeah, so I'm here, as you can tell from the title, to explain to you guys my experience getting an apartment in Atlanta without a full-time job, and maybe offer a little bit of advice to you guys who really do want to move to a new city, in particular like Atlanta or something, but just are scared or just don't know what to expect, or you think you're not ready to make that jump yet. So hopefully this helps, and yeah, so let's get into it. So a little bit about me, my background. Since I was little, I've always lived in Massachusetts or in Rhode Island, but like I've been like interchangeably. So one thing I did know was that I was not going to stay there in the long haul. I always knew that I was going to move to a new city. I thought I was going to do it for college, but that just didn't work out. And for those who do know me, they know that my dream has always been to move to Southern California. I tried to go to college, like apply to colleges there, but I didn't really like the colleges out there, so I just decided to stay in the East Coast and go to school in the East Coast and try again when I graduated. I tell you guys all that because like me, I was always prepared. Like from the moment I knew I wanted to leave, I was saving my money, saving much of my money because I really didn't have any bills. I lived at home. My parents were paying for everything. And slight disclaimer, I definitely want you guys to know that this is not a get it out the mud video. I come from a place that is, some people would say, privileged, or I am privileged, let's just say that. I'm very fortunate. My parents made out very well in life, and they passed their good blessings on to me. So I just want to put it out there that this is not a get it out the mud video. This is just my experience on getting an apartment in Atlanta. And yeah, maybe I can help you guys see how to do that, or learn from my mistakes, or learn from what I learned. So just want to say that. But anyway, I was always saving money to make my move to Los Angeles, but then came 2020. So I was gonna graduate. I graduated May 2020, and prior to the whole pandemic, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay at home for 3 months, and then come August I'm going to Los Angeles. But then a pandemic happened and I was forced to come home. And then in addition to the pandemic, there was also a summer of racial unrest, and there's like all these wildfires in Los Angeles. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just come. I just need to reevaluate what I want to do. So I've been seeing a lot about Atlanta and social media, and I had visited here before, and I thought it was pretty cool. Even though I don't have a full-time job, I do have a part-time job that I've been with since October 2019. So throughout like my time in college, I was saving like half my paycheck. Whatever money I made, I saved half of that. So after I saved half my paychecks, I knew I had enough money for myself to be comfortable to move to another state. That number kind of depends on different people, but for me, I saved enough money that I was comfortable taking the leap of faith and coming to a new city without that full-time job. Now, I still have my part-time job, like remote job, that I still work, but let's just be honest, it doesn't really pay that much, so there's no way I would be able to survive just off of that job right now. After I saved enough money that I was comfortable with, I decided in December of 2020, I was like, you know what, I'm so sick and tired of being at home. I'm ready. I meet my savings goal, and I'm just gonna take the leap of faith and book my Airbnb for Atlanta. So I didn't even tell anyone. I didn't tell my parents. I just booked my Airbnb, and I set it for a date for March 7th, and then I booked that Airbnb for a month so that I have a chance to look at apartments, because you kind of don't get the real sense of what apartments look like online. So I just want to make sure that I can see about the neighborhood, the apartment, the amenities, all of that in person, so there's no surprises when I move in and sign that 1-year lease. So that's what I did. I'm in my Airbnb now for a month. It's been, I don't know, this is like my third Sunday here, I guess. Whatever. The first week I was here, literally the entire week we just looked at apartments. The type of apartments that I wanted to get into were like apartment complexes. I didn't want a house, I didn't want a townhome. I knew I wanted like an apartment complex simply because I am a single woman, and I didn't want those multiple entry points that I had to, guard and take over and just be wary about. I just want an apartment complex that there's one way in and there's one way out. So, and I also didn't want an apartment that was on the first floor because I watched too many Investigation Discovery, and it's just a lot of bad things I've seen on Investigation Discovery with people, jumping in windows, and I just didn't want that happening to me. So I made sure that when I talked to leasing agents that they knew that I want an apartment on not the first floor. That's regardless of the apartment, as long as it was not on the first floor, I was good. So my budget at the time was $1,200. I looked at all these apartments that I thought was in my budget, but they were just not really up to what I was thinking. And just so you know, like, an apartment for $1,200 is possible. Let me just tell you, it's just not in the inner Atlanta. Let me just tell you that. If you want to be in like that inner circle of Atlanta, $1,200, it's possible. Like, it really is possible, but it's gonna be on like the outer skirts of the circle or like farther away from the city. Like most big cities, it's the same thing here in Atlanta. So, but my location was important to me, so I wanted to be close to the city. Definitely within like the Atlanta circle for sure. I didn't want to be in like Sandy Springs or like Jonesboro or any of like the neighboring like cities like that surround Atlanta. As I continue to tour apartments, my dad and I were just looking at each other as like, yeah, like I don't think $1,200 is gonna work. So we've upped my budget to $1,400. So yeah, let me just list what my priorities were. I needed a in-unit washer and dryer. That was an absolute must. I wanted a decent closet, and then I really wanted like a balcony. I see a lot of like apartments here in Atlanta have balconies, and if I'm gonna be in the South, I want to be able to enjoy my weather out in the patio. So I really wanted a little balcony space. So those were my main three things, and I finally zeroed in on this apartment complex. I have a fireplace, I have my balcony, I have my in-unit washer and dryer, I have ample space, it's everything, it's amazing. It doesn't have hardwood floors, but like I said, this is a starter home. This is me just getting my footing here in Atlanta. I'll probably just do a year and, kick it, find somewhere else. So anyway, it was like right in my price range. It was $1,300 in total for everything. So that was really good because I was not trying to pay $15, $16. They get you with the base rent. They definitely get you with the base rent, talking about some $1,300 base, and then they add on these community fees and trash fees and all these other fees, and I'm just like, bro, like, you said base rent was $1,300. Why am I getting this quote for $16? But yeah, that's how they get you. But anyway, my apartment that I will be moving into has everything that I need except for cable I need to pay for, and like utilities. So cable and utilities, I believe, is what I need to pay for like, and everything included. Everything I have to pay to them is like $1,300. So that's kind of doable. It's just like $100 over it's not just $100, but it's $100 over what I thought I was gonna be paying. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I'm happy about it. I don't have a roommate. That was very important to me. I remember I had a roommate one time in college, my freshman year, and that was the worst experience I've ever had in my life. I am traumatized. I'm scarred. I never want a roommate ever again. The only roommate I have literally would just be my man. And even that might be a little problem because I just love things like a certain way. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That security's on lock, just so you know. Here's how renting works, regardless of where you go. At least in Atlanta, apartment complexes require you to make 3 times the rent. If you have a guarantor, they need to make 4 or even 5 times the rent for you to qualify as for an apartment. And how you show your proof of income is by pay stubs, like a W-2, or I forgot what else, but mostly you're gonna see like you're required to show your last 2 or 3 pay stubs, or you're gonna you're gonna be required to provide your W-2s. But me, I'm gonna tell you, like, I work part-time. I don't make that much money. I'm telling you right now, my pay stubs does not show that I make 3 times the rent. I barely make even 1 times the rent with my pay stubs. I was gonna use a guarantor, that's what I thought. So the apartment complex that I applied to, I was like, okay, well, I don't make 3 times the rent, but I have my guarantor, my dad, who, you know, was gonna go on a limb and help me out with secure this apartment. So I applied and use my dad as a guarantor. And then they called me and they're just like, oh, like, are you in school? I'm just like, no. And she was talking about how, oh, you can't use a guarantor unless you're in school or like a full-time college student. And I'm just like, what? Why? I offered to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, and even like the second month's rent up front. And they were like, no, okay, we tried to like pay the entire lease amount like up front so they there's no dispute as if they'll get paid. They said, no, we can't do that. Try to get my dad to co-sign. And a co-signer and a guarantor are 2 different things. So a co-signer is responsible for the rent like as it's due, but a guarantor is only responsible for the rent if like the original lease signer, defaults on their payment. So they said that I couldn't use my dad as a guarantor. I was like, okay, cool. So can you be my co-signer? They were like, no, he has to work here and live here. Just like, that's weird because other apartment complexes is definitely not like that. I just met up with someone who said they had their parents co-sign for them, so that's weird. But anyway, they were being weird with it. Mind you, this is all email and like on the phone. And I'm just sitting there, and my dad and I are talking to each other. He was like, listen, Jamie, you're probably just gonna have to go up in there and talk to someone else because this is crazy. Like, you definitely have the money to qualify for this apartment, and if not, like, I will co-sign it for you. Like, exactly what I did. I laced up my bootstraps and just kidding. I put on my shoes and literally I left work early to make sure that I got to the office, and I walked into the office. The person I've been talking to was there, and I was like, I walked up to her and I was just like, can I talk to you and the manager? Because, you know, gotta pull off the Karen. Gotta do that sometimes. So luckily one of the managers were there and I explained the situation. I was like, look, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Like, this apartment will get paid for. What's up? And so she was listening to me, and she was listening. She's like, okay, and she looked at the person who I've been talking to for leasing this apartment. She looked at her and she's just like, okay, just make him a co-signer. She was like, we usually don't do this, but you know, I was just like, I don't know why, but okay. So that's how I was able to secure my apartment. Sometimes you just gotta go up in there and tell them what's up, you know, because people like to play games. If one thing I've learned from that experience is you definitely have to walk up. Don't be afraid to walk up into a building and demand to speak to someone, because it works. Because I'm pretty sure they were gonna reject me if I didn't do that, and I already paid like $420 for application fees and some other fee, and I was like, no, like, I'm not getting rejected after paying $420 to apply. It's just not gonna happen. Now that you guys know my experience with getting an apartment, let's just go over a little bit of advice and things that I've learned from that experience of trying to find an apartment without a full-time job. Number 1, save your money. Save your money, because listen, if it's okay to want to take a leap of faith, but you need a little bit of security. So please, I encourage you to save your money. And how much people like save depends on like their comfort level. I personally saved around $10,000, but some people have moved, made their move with like 5,000. So anywhere from like 5 to 10. So if you need extra comfort, like 10 plus, 10K plus. That's the recommended range of savings before you take the leap to move to a new city and, you know, just try to make your move. Number 2, do your research before you arrive to the city. So I did my research on apartment complexes before I got here, but like I said, there's literally nothing better than being able to physically see the apartment, see the neighborhood, see what surrounds it, see it at night, see it at day, see it at midday. So even though like you want to be here physically, it's important that you do your research beforehand. I researched like neighborhoods that I wanted to live in before I got here, so I were able to focus in on those neighborhoods and look at apartment complexes in those neighborhoods before I even got here. So I think that's why I was able to do it, like finish finding apartments so quickly, is because I knew what I was looking for, I knew what I wanted, and I knew the areas that I wanted to look in. So I think that made my apartment searching a little bit easier. Number 3, have a cosigner. If I'm sorry, but we all need help sometimes. So there's no shame in getting a cosigner. If you're privileged, if you're able to have a cosigner, I highly encourage you to get a cosigner, because getting an apartment is not easy, especially when you don't make 3 times the rent. Even if you have savings, they still want to make sure that you're able to pay for the apartment. So have a cosigner. And even though my experience with a cosigner was weird, I've also heard stories of people getting their apartments with a cosigner. So I don't know what's up with my apartment complex, but it's possible. People do it. Houses that are rented out by individual people, you might have luck getting those without a cosigner, because they're just less strict with the recommendation, with the requirements. So try that if you don't have a cosigner. Okay, number 4, have a backup plan. Listen. Having a backup plan, having backup plans is very, very important. If one thing does not work out, you have another one. That one doesn't work out, you have another one. Even if that one doesn't work out, have another plan for that backup plan, because things will go wrong, and I promise you that. It doesn't even mean you have to stray from your original plan. It just means that you have to go a different route to get to your final destination that you wanted to get to. Just please have a backup plan, because things will go wrong. And 5, take that leap of faith. People literally they become stagnant because they just aren't comfortable taking a leap of faith. Oh, I have to get a job, I have to do this, I have to make sure this is this, and hun, take that leap of faith. But like I said, I'm 23. The only person I have to worry about is myself. That's why I can feel confident and comfortable taking that leap of faith, because if it doesn't work out, I'll literally just go back home and try it again. Don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. I think that's just a part of life, and having fun in life is just experiencing things and taking risks and just doing things that are out of your comfort zone, because that's how you grow. But yes, guys, that is my experience with finding an apartment in Atlanta without a full-time job, and I hope I could inspire you, give you a little bit of advice, and you know, just push you to or just inspire you to take that leap of faith and to move to a new city, because honestly, I moved here March 7th and I'm having fun. I'm not gonna lie, I barely know anyone, but it's just the fact that it's a new city, and I literally just go on drives, and I just tour the areas of the city. I like the city so far. I'm excited to see how it goes, and I hope you guys continue to watch and grow and learn with me as I explore the city. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.